Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. My name is Dane. Let's get started. So, I enjoy cooking quite a lot, and I like to live healthy. So, the cooking that I do, I try to make usually as healthy as possible. You know, sometimes you have a cheat or two, but that's, to be expected. You gotta be good most of the time. So, today, I realized I had basically no food in my house, so I have to go to the grocery store. I figured it might be interesting to bring you guys along to show you what I usually get at the store, and then afterward, maybe we can make something with what we get. So, without further ado, we're gonna head over to Aldi. I would get a Costco membership, but I'm only one guy. I don't have a family or anything, so buying in bulk is, let's just put it this way. If I had bulk boxes of like cereal laying around the house, it's probably not the best bet for me. I would devour them instantly. So I shop at Aldi because to save some money. Unfortunately, they don't have the best selection, and I find that their produce sometimes is a little iffy, so you have to be a little bit more keen on selecting what is, ripe and overripe and definitely not able to buy. But if you know what you're looking for, then it's good to go. As you can see, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's gonna go for a walk this morning, and then I took 2 steps, realized that I was wet, and then I walked back inside. Lovely. Anyway, let's head on over to Aldi. So I'm here at Aldi. I realized that I just forgot my list at home, and I only had a couple things on my list because what I normally do is I'm a very habitual ingredient purchaser, so I'll buy the same staple things for my house pretty much every time I go to the store, and I'll show you what all those are later. But then I only write down the things that aren't the typical things that I buy. So like if I run out of one of the things on my list was salt. Like whoever runs out of salt, but I guess I did. So that's like one thing that I don't typically buy, but I'm going to need to. So luckily there's only I think 2 things on my list. I think maybe there was more. I guess I'll find out when I get home. Usually I buy the same handful of things, and then I like to get creative with those things in the kitchen, so that things don't get stale, things don't get boring. Because if you're just creative with what you make, it doesn't. If you buy healthy things to make things with, it doesn't matter what you make with them. It's probably going to end up healthy. So, with that being said, let's hop on inside Aldi. First thing I like to do when I get into the store is head over to the produce section, because I like to fill my cart with the good stuff, the vegetables and the fruits, and that's the easiest way to start that off. So if we head over to the fruits and vegetables, we're gonna go grab a whole bunch of those staples. Alright, vegetables and fruits are acquired. So now I'm going to work my way around the perimeter of the store and pick up all the other stuff that I need. It's smart to start around the perimeter of the grocery store and then only go into the middle aisles when you have something you specifically need, because the perimeter of the grocery stores are always house the healthiest foods. I don't know if it's intentional on the grocery store's behalf, but that seems to be the case with almost any grocery store. So staying around the outside walls of the grocery store is going to tend to have the healthier foods, whereas on the inside is going to have a lot more of the packaged and processed foods. So sticking to the outside and then only going in the inside when you actually need to get something from that specific aisle is a good way to kind of subconsciously shop a little bit healthier. So let's move on. So these health bars are more or less glorified candy bars. Now, if you're thinking about having a candy bar, something like this might be a better choice. But if you actually look at the ingredients, there's 190 or there's almost 200 calories in almost any of the flavors or types of these things, which is a substantial amount. You could have a substantial amount of food for 200 calories. But if you look, they always have like 10 plus grams of sugar, which is, it's more or less a candy bar at that point. And you know, the ingredients, when you look through the ingredients, is just all stuff you can't pronounce, and I just don't recommend them. There's a lot better choices you can have as far as snacks, and you just have to apply a little bit of creativity and prep time and effort into it. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend getting these bars unless, you know, you're really in a pinch, and you know, otherwise I guess they're better than candy bars, but I wouldn't go for them. Alright, so we're back from the store and we're gonna take a look at what I got, so let's check it out. So we have the produce. I got some peppers, bell peppers, oranges, carrots, some tomatoes, some lemons, a butternut squash, a few bananas, some avocado, some celery, spinach, and blueberries. So these guys are the fresh stuff, the things that I'm probably going to be using within the next week or so. As you can see, this makes up quite a lot of the purchase. So, you know, trying to make the majority of what you consume this kind of stuff, where it's the whole foods, the stuff that's not in packages, it doesn't have a label. This is the kind of stuff that you want to be purchasing as the majority, the bulk of your grocery list. So in addition to the fresh produce, I also like to get some frozen produce, because the frozen produce will stay better for, good for significantly longer, and you can often cook it quite faster. So I like to buy these frozen steamable bags. So if I really need some veggies in a pinch, just toss them in the microwave for 5 minutes and you're good to go. So I buy a whole bunch of these because they're super convenient and they don't go bad very fast. So whereas, you know, if you get a head of broccoli, it might go bad within a week. These guys will stay good in your freezer for months. But I go through these things quite frequently, and I'll have one probably once a day, just because it makes it super easy. So I do the same with fruit. I buy some frozen fruit just because it's already prepared and frozen, and I use those in like protein shakes and smoothies and all that kind of stuff. So I get that stuff in addition to the fresh produce that I buy. So as far as meat and dairy go, I often buy a large thing of chicken because chicken is just generally a really easy to cook and very versatile protein. Low in fat, no carbs, and high in protein, so fantastic for when you're trying to put on the muscle and keep off the fat. I buy eggs quite often because I think they're absolutely delicious and quite nutritious for you. I buy a container of egg whites because they are, once again, super versatile, high in protein, low in everything else, so very good. I buy non-fat Greek yogurt, the unflavored kind. There's a lot of, you have to be careful with this stuff because if you get the flavored stuff like vanilla or some of the other fruits or whatever, the amount of sugar that's in them is insane, whereas this one has 0 grams of added sugar, which is fantastic, and only 90 calories per serving per 3/4 cup. So non-fat Greek yogurt, this guy has a ton of protein as well. So 16 grams of protein per serving. Fantastic stuff. I get some low-fat cottage cheese. It's good for snacks. Some part skim mozzarella. I like to get a cheese and just have a shredded cheese on hand. This time I'm switching to mozzarella. I had cheddar last time, so I'm kind of keeping things fresh. And then I finish out with a couple containers of unsweetened almond milk. Normal milk is fine, but I like almond milk just because it saves on some of the calories with 30 calories. So switching from like 110 calories per serving of regular like 2% milk to 30 calories with this stuff is saves you a lot of calories and lets you eat a whole lot more. And that's most of it. But lastly, I remembered to get salt. I got some pink Himalayan salt because I'm feeling bougie as hell. And then I got a couple pantry staples that I like to keep on hand. One is a big can of crushed tomatoes in case I ever want to make some sort of tomato-esque sauce. I have little cans of tomato sauce for whenever I want to make like a pizza or something. I just use the sauce as the pizza sauce. And then I got a bag of stevia because I often like to eat sweet things and I don't like to sweeten stuff with sugar because that's a whole lot of wasted calories and sugar is just generally bad for you. And I don't like artificial sweeteners because some science says that they're bad for you, but it hasn't been confirmed, and there's really all this wishy-washy information about artificial sweeteners, so I just go with the natural stuff. It's not too expensive. I just get a big bag of it, and it lasts for quite some time. So that's usually what I get when I go to the store. That's kind of like the staples of what I get, just a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables, usually a big package of some sort of meat like chicken or beef or turkey or whatever you like. Vegetarian is definitely a good option as well. So definitely all the veggies, some sort of protein, and just have in mind of maybe a recipe or two that you want to make, and just get that stuff. But really fill up on the fruits and vegetables. Sometimes some whole grains, carbs are not a bad thing. There seems to be a misconception these days that carbs are evil. You definitely, you don't need carbs, and that's the whole ketogenic thing. But if you're not going strict keto, then there's really no point in reducing your carb intake. But there is a point in reducing your refined carbohydrate intake. So eating a sweet potato versus a loaf of white bread, that's going to be a huge difference in the health factor, and you should always be reaching for the sweet potato. That being said, I do cook quite a bit with bread as well, so it's really a give and take. Just keep in mind that labeling anything as strictly bad is usually not a great way to go about it. I think that deserves some more talking, but that's all I'm going to say about it now because I need to collect my thoughts on the matter before I just start rambling on as I do. So if we're talking about food, we might as well talk about nutrition and how I like to go about my nutrition. So on any given day, I track my calories and macros using MyFitnessPal on my phone. I just put in whatever I eat, and I'm usually pretty precise about it, but if I'm like going out to eat, I'm not gonna ask the server like how many grams of olive oil go into this. I'll find something that's similar to it and try to ballpark it as best I can. But when I'm home, I have a food scale, and I don't get too crazy about it. If it says a cup or 30 grams, I'll usually just measure the cup. So I track everything on my phone, and that gives me an idea of how many calories I've eaten, how much protein I've consumed, fats and carbohydrates, and as far as all of the nutrients like vitamins and minerals that I've had. Keeps track of all that for me so that I don't have to. And it's super helpful in order to figure out how you're going toward your goal. So after putting all this stuff away in my fridge, I realized that I have a lot less room now. So I'm going to try to clear out some of the stuff that's almost empty. And in doing so, I'm going to try to make some breakfast. I always preach to get creative in the kitchen. And today is going to be a live example of that, because I'm going to try to make pancakes, but with like the leftover stuff that didn't fit. And we're going to see how it goes, because I've never made pancakes like this before. I made similar pancakes with a few different, I'm like combining like 3 or 4 different recipes that I've heard. And we're going to see how it goes. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but this is how we learn, right? This is how we find new good recipes, and if we're using healthy ingredients, the end result is pretty likely going to be healthy. And if we log it along the way, we know exactly how healthy it's going to be in the end. So, without further ado, let's figure this out. So in the fridge, I had a carton with only 2 eggs left. I had a thing of cottage cheese with maybe a serving left, and I had some pureed pumpkin from when I made some pumpkin spice food earlier. That's about half used, so I'm going to try to finish that off. Now, I'm thinking to try to make like some pumpkin spice pancakes with this. So I'm going to add a few ingredients that I have on hand. One is some rolled oats. One is a slice or 2 of whole wheat bread and some baking powder. We're going to toss this all in a blender and blend it up into a nice pancake batter. And we're going to see if it needs anything else, and if it does, I'll catch you back there. So this stuff is kind of cool. It's called guar gum, and basically it's used in like smoothies and other food mixtures to basically it acts as a thickening agent. So if you ever have like some soup or like a smoothie that you really want to thicken up, just adding maybe like a half a tablespoon or so really goes and like thickens it up. Now to this, I'm also going to add a little bit of the stevia that we talked about earlier, just to add a little bit of extra sweetness to the pancakes. So in this pancakes, I'm going to be putting in some cinnamon, some nutmeg, and then some ground clove. So we have the pan heating up here, and I transferred the contents of the blender into a bowl for a lot easier of transfer into the pan. And before we put before we make them, we're gonna spray the pan with some non-stick butter flavored spray. I don't like to use like butter or anything because it's super high in calories, where a quick spray of this is negligible calories. By the way, it says 0 calories. That's not entirely true. The 0 calories is for a 1/4 second spray. So that means, that's 0 calories. But really it's a fraction of calorie, and then if you kind of continue and lay it down thick, the calories do add up. There is calories in this oil, so don't let that fool you. So while the pancakes are cooking, I'm gonna make a nice topping to put on top. And since we're going with like a pumpkin spice theme, I'm gonna try to make it like a pumpkin roll kind of pancake. So I'm gonna try to make some Greek yogurt based filling to go in the middle. And I think it's gonna be pretty good. So let's pretend that we know how to make that. So I have a container of non-fat Greek yogurt with only about maybe a serving or half a serving in it, and really I'm just gonna mix that with some vanilla flavored protein powder just to make a nice topping to go onto our pumpkin roll pancakes. It's as simple as that to make the filling, and let's go ahead and give that a taste, Yeah, that is ready to fill up the pumpkin right there. Oh my god. All right, the pancakes are done, and as you can see there, make a solid amount of pancake, nice and real fluffy. And I'm just gonna top it off with our beautiful filling here, topping. And I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of cinnamon on top here. That right there is my pumpkin roll pancakes, made out of the random things that I found in my cupboard and fridge. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig into this bad boy. We're gonna see just how delicious it actually is. So I made this just from the things that I need to get rid of in my fridge and a handful of things in the pantry. And didn't really know what I was doing going into it, but kind of figured it out along the way. And look at that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, that's pretty damn good. Anything's possible when you get creative in the kitchen, right? I'm gonna chat on this. I'll talk to you guys later. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully it inspired you to get creative in the kitchen, and even if you don't know how to cook, it's definitely pretty easy to learn. I didn't know going into my fitness journey, and I just kind of made it up. I used the internet, and I made stuff up and trial and error until, you know, I think I have a decent handle on what might be good, what might not. But until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.